Welcome to Small and Supercharged Podmas, a series of chatty podcasts that were first broadcast as lives in the Small and Supercharged Facebook group on the run-up to Christmas. Each short podcast features a member of the mastermind group talking all about what they have got going on this Christmas. Listen, enjoy, screenshot, share to stories and share your support of these amazing small businesses. And equally, if you want to catch up with some lives, we have got them running all throughout December over in the free Small and Supercharged Facebook group. Just search Small and Supercharged and you will find the Burgundy group. I hope you love them. We are joined by the fabulous Dr. Di. How are you doing?
I'm very, very well, very busy, as can be expected. But Rhea and I have put a ban on Omicron and COVID, and we're going to chat ponies and much more positive things today.
I have to say, obviously, we cannot ignore the fact that COVID and Omicron and all that stuff's kicking off. But isn't it so lovely when you talk about something positive? We had a lady at school who sent a message around to the group saying, I've been offered a new job and I'm starting in January.
Oh,
and it's like,
amazing.
It's so lovely to have something positive come through.
We have to keep the positive things going. And this is what happened last time, isn't it? And this is how the big community kind of grew last time online. And when social can be really positive so I know I had so much support from my followers that were just not being neg. They were just like, oh, you all right? Oh, Winnie looks cute or whatever. And all those little comments that people make to each other, or if people are on their own, they've got some kind of interaction that's positive. It does make a difference. I think we just need to be a little bit mindful of what we put online and just try and, just say the odd thing that's nice to people.
Yeah, the whole kind of hashtag be kind that people say and don't do. Like, let's do it. You don't have to use the hashtag, just do it. Just send someone a nice message. Say their horse looks cute or their hair's doing well.
Yeah, exactly. If you think it and it's nice, write it. To me, I tried to start a new one. It was hashtag be more horse. So
yeah, I completely agree. If anyone's got anything you'd like to ask Dr. Di, pop it in the comments. Anything joyful you'd like to share, I for one would love to flip and hear that. So get that in the comments as well. We'll start with you, Di, though. So actually, if you do a quick summary, in case anyone doesn't know you, and this is a podcast as well, but a little bit about you and also about your All the King's Horses page and what the idea was behind that.
Okay, so my name's Dr. Diane Fisher, unfortunate name, I'm aware. And I'm an emergency medicine and major trauma consultant working out of UHN, so predominantly the Royal Stoke site. I'm also Beta's Chief Medical Officer, a role that I started in April this year. And then on top of that, I'm a recently graded para dressage rider, so I ride at grade 5. And then on top of that, I run the social media pages, All the King's Horses on Instagram and Facebook. And on there, you'll see a mix of my horses, my sort of chunderings. Oh no, chundering's being sick, isn't it? Chunder.
Yeah, let's just not be sick. I can't
deal with I'm going to go with babbling on the stories. But every week we do Medical Monday. So I'll put something on that either somebody said, can this happen? What about this? So some of them you'll just think, why are you telling us that? It will be because somebody's asked for it. Just trying to demystify medicine a bit, really, so that we're all a bit more educated and we can make better decisions when it comes to things going wrong. And then we also have the Rider Clinic, which will start up again for 2022 in January. And on the Rider Clinic, we have a kind of mix. So we have the wonderful Maeve from Activate Your Seat, who comes along and does some physio and advice alongside me. I look at the sort of acute. So what do you need to do when you've just damaged it, whatever that bit of you may be. And then Maeve will go into, what you should be doing from a sort of rehab point of view. So that's been really, really popular. And then we will do specific things. So last year we did stuff looking at sort of the job of body protectors and common injuries that they help with, and also obviously with hats. And quite often we get a lot of support from manufacturer, and I've secured quite a lot of support for 2022. So that enables us to sort of be able to do the giveaways. Last year we gave away a hat, we gave away a body protector, we gave away Cokie Bar supplements. They sponsored a clinic. So I do try and get sponsorship to give something to you. A lot of what I get offered as I don't know what I am on social, but whatever that tag is that I am.
Influencer.
I don't think I'm really big enough to be an influencer, but anyway, I pretty much all of it, unless I need it for the horse, I pass it forward and give it away to the followers. So so we've got a great community. I was at your horse, obviously you were there with me. So I was on the horse and country stage twice a day. I managed to give some support.
Awesome. That was so good.
We did a live rider clinic. I've still got a lot of things I want to do with it for next year, but hopefully we'll get a slot next year as well and just beef it up a little bit, because it was all a bit last minute, wasn't it? But it was really, really good. And we had some wonderful people that came on and shared with us what had happened. And yeah, it was good. We got really good support. I was surprised. So yeah.
Di's downplaying this. It was brilliant. It was Di, Claire Williams, who's the executive director of Beta, and then they had somebody each day. So you had Jade Stock on day 1.
Yes.
You had Claire Gabriel day 2. And then you had Sarah Washington day 3.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
All sharing about their injuries, and it was, but like in a really positive, because obviously everyone's recovered.
Yeah, it's just kind of like you would say to your mate, "Oh God, this happened to me," and then we were just talking around, weren't we? Like what could you have done that, if you'd known what was going to happen, that you thought, oh, I wish I'd done it this way, or, just so that when things go wrong, we're just a bit better, better prepared to deal with it, really.
And actually the equilibrium talk, which died, on the Friday, there wasn't a big gap, was there? But then I was in straight back in, and I didn't deliberately heckle, but I heckled a little bit. Didn't mean to. But one of the, Di had some slides up on the screen, and someone behind me said, that's been photoshopped. And I looked and I thought, oh my God, it's been photoshopped. So I said, has that been photoshopped? Because it was the lung. Do you remember the black lung?
Oh, yeah. It hasn't been photoshopped.
No, but it was so contrast. It's such a contrast. I was looking kind of going,
that's just how it is. Like,
I've never seen one of those. So what were we looking at? Because it's all like head collar safety connected to
so interestingly, Equilibrium are a brand that I think safety is at the heart of what they do, and they do a lot of stuff around sort of horse welfare, and a lot of their products are about actually making our horses' lives a bit better. This is my opinion. I am not sponsored by them. And they commissioned a survey into head collar safety, where they'd looked at sort of injury to horses from the strength of the head collar and whether it's got a proper quick release and things on it. And they actually commissioned a proper scientific study where they actually tested it as well against leather, nylon, etc. And the reason they sort of asked me to support them is that as part of that kind of survey that they'd done, they'd looked at how many injuries had happened to humans. Obviously, one of the things I kind of bang on about a little bit is the fact that we are not as careful on the ground as we are when we're riding. Most of us will reach for a hat when we get on a horse. That's kind of second nature. Do we do that if we're clipping? I've been guilty. Do we do that if we're going to the field? Guilty. Those kind of things, and obviously if you're clipping or if you're tied up because of X, Y, and Z, those are the times when things can go wrong. So they asked me to sort of, come along and just sort of point out the dangers of being on the ground. And yeah, they were all real injuries, and they were all from on the ground. So I think there was a fractured humerus, there were some teeth that had gone, there was a pneumothorax. So when the lung collapses,
that was the black one, wasn't it? Yeah,
it was. Yeah. So when you look at a CT of someone with a pneumothorax, it is jet black because there's no tissue because the whole lung has collapsed down. So so it does look quite dramatic. I just have no filter for this because I see it day in, day out. So and have done for many years.
I was going, I feel a little bit queasy now. Not with a CT scan, but like
there was that lady that had the open she had an open ankle fracture, didn't she? There was an open fracture as well. So that's when the skin is opened and the bone is sticking out. So yeah, we had some gore. We had some gore.
But people were warned, to be fair.
They
But
were warned.
I'm not turning away at that point. Like I'm committed, and also Di would have shot me if I'd have turned away. Oh
yeah. I think I've desensitized you enough by now. Like you know, you have to stay standing. Unfortunately,
I'm getting much better now, which is good. No, they were awesome. Such great talks, and I think what you said as well about the rider clinics. Going back to that about the support from the brands. I found them all fascinating. I could listen to Maeve all day. I mean, her accent alone, let alone her knowledge.
Oh, no, she's a legend. She's a legend, and she's supported giveaways throughout the year. You know, she's given away 2 lots of the Activate Your Seat system, where we've gone through and looked at people that we think would massively benefit from it, and that's always really difficult. It's really difficult to choose like one person, because everybody that enters and says it would be really beneficial to me because of X, Y, and Z. I use the program myself 100%. It will be beneficial, and it's really, really tough to choose. But she puts a lot of free stuff on now, so if you follow Maeve, if you don't, you should. We love her at All the King's Horses, so if you don't, you should. And if you can't, afford to buy the program, she shares so much free on her page. There's a lot of advice there as well. And obviously for all of the rider clinics, they're available online on the All the King's Horses pages on Instagram and Facebook. So you can always go back. And the other thing we've done with the clinics is we've used it for sort of a space for people to tell their story. So we've had people that have had quite significant injury and have done really well, and just given them the platform to come on and talk and go from there. We've had loads of people. We've had Odette Insole from Nouveau Habit, who had a really nasty liver lac. We had Emma Berry Eventing, who'd had a really nasty touch with cancer, and obviously she had some issues riding going forwards.
Lucy, did you have Lucy?
Yeah, Lucy Strackner's just been on, Grand Prix Dressage rider. She's amazing. She had a really nasty thoracic injury. And it sounds like, it's all doom, but actually none of it is doomy. It's kind of, it's a chat.
It's actually quite the opposite, because you see, I think it's quite inspiring that even whatever situation you're in, you're like, actually, it's going to get better. These people are proof of it. If I do the right things and listen to the medical advice, there's a good chance that, obviously depends on your specific injury, but I think it's very inspiring.
But there's tips as well, things that they found that have been helpful, trying to balance horses and whatever afterwards, tips that, I learn from them. One of the things that I found very poignant was when Odette told me on the rider clinic about, she overheard the conversation between the doctors and her parents, warning her parents that she may not survive. So she heard that. Now, it made me immediately go, God, when I think somebody's not aware, do I sometimes have these conversations at the bedside? Am I making sure that that person can't hear? Sometimes people, if they're awake enough, then you'll have that conversation with them as well if they ask. So I definitely took that back to my department and said, guys, look, I did the rider clinic. A few of my colleagues watch anyway, and I was like, they were the same, like, oh my God, actually we all need to be really mindful of that. So it's just really interesting for me to get how, because the majority are, I mean, the odd one isn't a trauma, but majority of people are talking about trauma. So it's just, for me to get the patient journey and the patient experience is really useful for, taking forward into practice and understanding where we're maybe not so good as well.
No, as you say, it's interesting because it's not just fixing people's physical injuries. It's the whole thing, isn't it? It's all the care and all of that. Now, yesterday, actually, I know. Well, no, we'll go back. We'll do the para grading, because yesterday you took the Super Winnie out, and I have had the privilege of going to watch Di and Winnie in action. She is awesome. I love her. I just think
hot.
She so is, because she's like she is a cob, but she's not. Yeah. But she is, the way she moves and the speed. She's awesome.
She's small but mighty.
And when you're on her, she looks so much bigger than in the pictures when she's like chilling in the stable. She's like just grows, doesn't she? And she's like,
she's a unit. We call her the unit. Like she's a ledge, and I say she's hot. Like she's not naughty. So just in case I ever want to sell her, but no, I would never sell her. But she's not naughty, is she? She's just so reactive that if you ask for something with your leg, she has to accept the leg. And that's what we've been working on, getting her. It's okay for me to rest my legs against her. And that will give her more confidence anyway, as we all know. But just realizing that moving her around with my leg does not mean I need you to go faster or need to go more forward, because she's very forward. Like there's no kickage required, really. It's just she'll do it for you. So yeah, but she's a lovely horse, and luckily I've managed to get some really good tuition at home with Janet Horswell as well. So yeah, I took her out last night. Bless her.
And how did she do last night? Because you did really well.
No, we didn't do well. We came joint last, so fifth. There was only 5 in each class. Joint last, and then last. But
let's put some context behind that, shall we?
Yeah.
Did you fall
last? That's the context. Last. No, look, the thing is, we didn't go out to compete, to be honest. Every time I've taken her to, because obviously she's riding para dressage, every time I've taken her, I have to sit because she's so ready to go. I actually need, because of my physical issues, I have to sit so that I can physically hold her and make sure and use my weight a lot. So I haven't been able to do rising trot when she's out because she's off, and so we went out we've been working a lot on the contact, a lot of her left leg into right hand, and we wanted to go out and put her into rising trot. And also Janet wanted to see, what is she like out? How does she react? What are we going to do? Because we've qualified for the winter championship, so bizarrely, so we need to have it.
Bizarrely,
come on, they're massive horses I've got to ride against.
Winnie she will go, yeah, I am worth it.
Not this year, but we'll see. Look, I'm not, we'll do our very best, but yeah, in the future, that sensitivity and that willingness, I don't want to lose it. And that's why I'm very lucky to have good help, because if I can keep that and nurture that, then is there a chance she'll go properly up the levels? Yeah, there is. You've seen her. She's mighty. So could she end up piaffing? Yes, she could. So there's no reason she can't go all the way.
I loved her. I love mares anyway, but I just thought she was, and her little face, her expression when she's like doing her stuff. And I think one of the highs is when she's screamed at a horse 3 fields away. That was quite a moment in your test.
She's not called Winnie for any other reason apart from the fact that she whinnies non-stop.
But she was like, she was still like doing her stuff beautifully, and she's like, and I'll show you too. And I'm like, oh my god, the skill.
Just in case you want to meet up later, I'll just give you a shout and let you know I'm here. Or she'll do like, have you seen what I'm doing? Like, come on, look at me. I'm fabulous.
I love her. I just loved her. I have to say as well, when I was watching you do your dressage, Jesus Christ, it's hard. Like, I know dressage is hard anyway, but you did intro, and the stuff it's not like, I would have thought it would have been comparable to prelim.
Yeah.
It's not comparable to prelim at all.
No, it's more kind of novice push. It's novice pushing elementary, really, the intro standard. So yeah, so it's not, and I wasn't at that level with Win, so it was a big ask to go out and do the first test, the intro test anyway, for the intro para test. It was a big ask for her anyway, which is why I was surprised that we've managed to get the points. I mean, I haven't had the email yet, but I don't think anybody else has, and they hadn't actually recorded one of my results, so that's just been uploaded now. So yeah, I will get the email for that, but yeah, we'll just see. Look, it's a journey, isn't it? It's a journey as a another competitor's mum's had put a message on the other day. For dressage, it's a bit of a marathon. There's no quick wins. It's all about, you know, consistency, training, fitness of both of us. And, you know, I'm very, very proud of her getting the qualification, because she's not a dressage horse. She's not, you know, she's not anything like the other horses there. So, you know, she's a good girl and we're very proud of her.
She's awesome. And she's only a baby. She's a youngster, isn't she, as well?
6. Yeah, she is a baby.
Yeah. I think I love her. I think she's awesome. And that attitude, it reminds, because Maz obviously doesn't do a whole lot now, but Maz had this, it was actually an incredibly annoying thing, but it was very sweet. She liked to try and predict what I was going to ask her to do next. And it was a pain in the neck, because you'd rush a transition because you're thinking, oh, I might canter up that side. And Marion's like, should we do it? She'll do it now. We'll do it now. And I'm like, oh, hang on. I was just thinking it.
Yeah, I just thought it. Yeah.
And it was very sweet. But I kind of saw, like, Winnie's got some of those awesome, like, yes, I'm going to help you. But it's not quite the help you want, but she's on it.
But she'll also leave. Do you remember when we went to Solihull for the first time? There's a part in the test where you kind of do a bit of a medium walk and then you turn and then you do a bit of a free walk and a long rein, but only a short one. And then you go past A, like you pick up trot past A, and then in the corner you pick up canter. Well, I gave her, you know, a bit of leg to say, come on, let's trot. She just turned right and left the arena.
I love her.
She's just I was like, no. I just looked down and saw all 4 feet were out. And I was like, I don't know what to do now. So I just kind of turned around, went back in, picked up the movement before and carried on. Because I was like, I don't know what to do, but I've driven for 3 hours. I'm going to finish my 3.5 or 4 minute test, whether you would bloody eliminate me or not. I'm doing it. So they didn't eliminate me, but I don't think I've ever managed to get 0 for 2 movements before in my life. But we got 0s.
Next time you need to get Fish to make a diversion or create a distraction so you can get back in and just go, no, I didn't leave.
Yeah, I didn't leave. Sorry about that. That was the one in the warm-up where I thought, which is why it was so useful for Janet coming yesterday, because in that warm-up I thought, maybe if I canter her like hard, maybe she'll just relax a bit more. So I cantered her down the long side, and it's a big arena, the outdoor. And we were getting closer and closer to the fence at the end, and closer and closer. And I thought, she's just not going to turn. Like, we're going to go through there, because there was a little gap where you could get out. I was like, she's just not going to turn. She's not going to turn. All the spectators did that whole like dramatic leg it away from the fence, but we did manage to kind of do a bit of a handbrake turn at the end. But they were literally like, do you know what the dressage arenas is like? You know, everyone's dead posh and everything, aren't they? And then there's me careering down the end, just about to go through this small gap with the spectators moving away, going, oh my God, she's going to come through the fence. Nearly did, to be fair. That's the one where she left the arena. Yeah, that test. But yeah, anyway, look, we didn't need that. We got the qualification without that test. So yeah, it was all good.
Too right. I think she's fun. So what are your dressage plans then for next year?
So next year, obviously, winter champs are in February. We will obviously take her back out and want to qualify for the summer champs. Siddy is looking as though he's sound-ish. So if he continues to be sound, he's back in work now. I'm very lucky in that I have an amazing rider called Gemma Dullock, who comes and schools the horses. Obviously, I am very unbalanced on one side, so they need regular schooling to keep them straight and fit. And she does that for me, because it is difficult with work to be able to ride enough, and it's very overwhelming sometimes. So she schools them twice a week. So yeah, that will be the plan, to try and get Siddy out and qualified as well. He's actually easier for me to ride. He's a bit lazy and can be a bit behind the leg, but I can deal with that quite quickly. And if he's out, his excitement of being out just brings him to being normally ridden. So that would be the plan. And then I guess the other plan is to hopefully at some point get noticed enough for somebody want to swoop in and give me a talented horse to ride for them. That's kind of the hope and praying that happens. But the horses are very far and in between, and you know, I'm probably not as good as most of the other people at my level at the moment, but I'm working hard, so I can't do any more than I'm doing. So that's kind of the plan.
Well, I think I think you're awesome, and I blooming love Winnie, and I haven't met Sid yet, but I can't wait to, because he just looks so sweet.
Dude. He's a dude. He's my best mate. I love him to bits. He's an absolute dude. He gets very scared by things, like, you know, I don't think he was particularly well treated before not here, and not by the people I know that had him. I think it will have been right from when he was broken in, and he's very whip shy. Not now. After his surgery, he decided that he hated all people, and to be honest, it was quite dangerous to go anywhere near him. He'd have you. So the fact that he is like a big Irish wolfhound now is a massive testament to him, that he's, you know, decided that actually he can trust people. But he will do things like, he'll see something, he won't spook, but then he'll be like, I spooked, didn't I? You're like, no, but you didn't. And then he'll be like, I did. Are you cross with me? Like, no, I'm not. And you really didn't actually do the spook in the first place. So he needs a lot of reassurance, but we know each other very well. So it's fine riding him. And he's beautiful. You know, I love a grey. I love a dapple grey. He's beautiful. So we'll see. I would like to be out with him again.
I'm sure you will be. You'll have a brace of horses to compete then.
Yes, I will. Can you imagine? Where am I going to get the time for that? Who knows?
It'll be fine.
Don't
get the dogs trained.
I know. The fact the dogs are being very well behaved. Let me show you how big Harry's got, because obviously everybody. If I just wave the. Would anybody like a cookie? Do you want to go on the telly? Oh.
Before we get messages, I'm sure they are dog cookies.
Oh yeah.
They're not actual chocolate ones.
Peanut butter and they're full of mince pie, chocolate, and they're peanut butter and banana cookies.
Wow.
Luckily, Harry, who we thought was going to have to go and have surgery, has not required surgery because he's healed all on his own.
I was going to say, oh my God, he's wearing a jump. Oh, Harry, Bo, look at your outfits.
I know. I can't find their Christmas jumpers because I have been quite distracted. So he's just in his Superman one, aren't you?
His Superman vest. Oh God, he's gorgeous. He's got so big. I saw him. It was only about a month ago, and he was
massive. He's massive. And actually, Tink Stinks, who's here, come here, Pink. She is not that much bigger than him now.
Oh, Emily says, all the dogs, how is the cat? I mean, the key is the cat that you thought was dead isn't dead, is it?
Oh, that cat's fine. Yeah, the cats are fine. I've got 3. I've got Henry, Meg, and Buster. All the cats are good. They're doing their jobs. One of them, MG. So one of them, I was very upset because one of them brought a rat in from the field, and then I was like, you've just let that go because it fought back. So I was like, really stressed about it in the stables anyway. He then caught that one overnight, but then the delivery men have been coming to the door and they'd caught another one, and then they'd left it on the doorstep at the front. Now we don't use the front door ever. So the delivery men were putting like, there's a rat on the doorstep and they're putting like all the parcels around the rat. And I was like, oh, embarrassing. They're going to think that we're like teeming with rats. Not so. Our biggest problem is bats, not rats.
Can't do much with bats. You got to just leave
anything about the bats. So yeah, all good.
I don't like rats.
Well, we've got some exciting stuff planned with Beta next year. Obviously, we did the Summer of Safety, didn't we? And you were involved in that with us as well. So it was a bit of an interim one this year. It was sort of working out, how do we do this going forward to, you know, make it more kind of not interesting, but it's hard to make safety stuff fun, you know.
Although I do think, and I'm not just saying this because, you know, I think that the Summer of Safety really did make it much more interesting and broke down the barriers.
Yeah, 100%. So we've got that planned again for this year, and then we've got some other things planned. So we'll be teaching CPR and all sorts of things at Pony Club Champs, and yeah, we've got stuff planned, so it's exciting. Very proud of Beta. They're doing really well.
Absolutely. I know obviously when you did the talks at Your Horse Live, I thought it was really good to have Beta's input on that.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, they do so much, and I think it's really important that we realise it's not just a label and a body protector that they do. They are really working on so many different levels to help keep us all safer and our horses happier, and so many different things that they're doing.
Yeah, they're huge. I mean, I didn't realise until I took the position how many things they actually do. Like they've almost got a finger in every pie, haven't they? And there's they give so much support to retail and manufacture, and then on top of that they're doing all the safety stuff, and then they're making sure the feed's safe. They're making sure they've just started the NOPs for the bedding, haven't they? Yeah. They're representing us for safety standards on the European committees, and advising other countries as well about how to make stuff safer and better. And they're a really, really good bunch of guys.
And actually, we could use the opportunity to talk about the new brain. Come on, what's it called? The rider accident report form that you.
Yes, yeah. So we've just launched a survey. So it's basically forming a database. It's very difficult to collect data from the NHS. That's still in process because of confidentiality. But we can do self-reporting. So there's a self-reporting accident tool which we would like everybody to fill in. And even if you've just pranged your finger, ideally I'd like to know about it. It just gives us the opportunity to feed back and have a proper picture about what's actually where things go wrong. Don't want to be like focusing on bad stuff at all, but I don't think we've got a current picture. And then that guides us, because if actually, I don't know, say 75% of the injuries are actually on the ground, then we really need to push that. We need to push the education around that. And I think when you give people information, it's about, that there's got to be evidence behind it. We all know that riding's, got a risk attached to it. We love it. We're not going to not do it. We're not going to not be around our horses. However, we can mitigate those risks and, make it as safe as it possibly can be. And that may just be putting a pair of gloves on and a hat when you turn in and out. But, there's no point us doing a campaign for that if actually there's one finger injury a year. If it turns out that actually there's significant amount, it gives us the kind of weight behind it to try and push campaigns and stuff. So yeah, but to do that we need everyone's help.
And also, correct me if I'm wrong, but this information can also be fed back to manufacturers to help actually change kit, can't it, if need be?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they do. All of the ones that I'm aware of will take ask for hats to go back when there's been bad accidents and stuff, and they'll have a look at them. And they do look at injuries, but they're not having an actual regular feedback of what's actually happening and what's the protection that they're providing. I don't think there'll be any changes to the PPE, so to the hats and body protectors. I think personally they've got it right, but wouldn't it be nice to be able to actually say, yeah, you have got it right and well done you? But equally, if we find that we're getting 50,000 liver injuries, maybe we need to put a bit of extra padding on, right left, or right left, right, or as you be over the spleen. But do you know what I mean? It's good to give that feedback, and it not be based on other sports, because there was a lot of stuff that's been based off motorbikes, and we're not motorbikers, and our mechanism of injury is different.
No,
so it is specific to our sport.
No, it's so valuable. If you want to fill that in, please do go over to beta- I should know this. I think it's -uk.org. Let me just check. beta-uk.org. There we go. I knew there was a hyphen and an org and a UK, and my little brain went, we don't know the order. So go and have a look at that, and also do give them a follow on social media, because I know they are promoting that QR code and everything on there as well. Di, is there anything else you would like to share with us before I ask you all the places where people can follow you and find you online?
No, I don't think so. I think just it's my only bit that I will say about COVID, and that is, I think our world is going to change relatively dramatically in the next few weeks or months to come. And I think what we can do individually is make sure that we're booster vaccinated.
I'm boosted. I am boosted.
Good.
I got mine on Monday and I queued.
Don't send me anti-vax stuff. I'll block you immediately. And genuinely make plans for your horses. So if we do end up locked down, which is a real possibility, make plans. If you can't go, or if you're poorly, who's looking after your horse? If you can't go to your mum's to deliver milk, who's going? Make those plans like we did last time, and buddy up. If somebody is quite vulnerable mentally, or lonely, or alone, then just make those calls. How are you today? Send those messages. When you see somebody put something on and says, I don't know, with their horse in the stable, you might think in your brain, oh, that's cute, but we tend to scroll on by, don't we? And you can use your social media and it gives somebody a real buzz. So just, put that kindness out there. It sounds a bit twee, doesn't it? I hate the hashtag be kind, but just take the effort to support people. And my biggest one is, I guess I know that it had a big toll on people's mental health before. It's definitely started for me already. The first night after I got being made aware properly, like formally, I had no sleep whatsoever. And then I'm definitely, just a bit wired for me. So that's come back. But I think just being aware that everybody, whether they're working in the health service or not, this has an effect for everybody, so we have to just be patient, genuinely be kind, and we will get through it. We will get through it. It's just going to be a little bit shitty for a while, I think.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm sure that everybody would join with me. They can't because of the way the live is structured, and if it's a podcast, they definitely can't. Although, comment, share the stories, do all the stuff. We're just so lucky to have the NHS and the people giving the jabs. I think when I went the other day, it was the St John's ambulance lady that gave me the jab. Yeah. But I've seen
there's loads of people coming in and volunteering. There's loads of people volunteering to give jabs and stuff. So if you are a retired nurse, or you're, or whatever, we are going to need volunteers in the hospital again. We had volunteers last time. We had the military in. We had people from the council. If you can, and you can volunteer, do, because even if you have no clinical skills, we have jobs that you can do that will take the pressure off the clinical staff, because we know that this is going to affect our staffing ratios significantly. So yes. Any help will be massively appreciated. But I guess from my point outside is just, this isn't about a government. I'm not a Boris lover or a Boris hater. This is not about a government. This is something that supersedes governments. It's just about, and it does come down to each and every one of ours behaviour over the next few months. That's all it's about. Who cares if I don't care if you had a party. I'm not bothered. I know it looks bad. I know it was awful. I don't care. What I care about is that people keep their distance, that they wash their hands again, and that they get their boosters. And that if they are well, that they just keep an eye on those people that may not be well and make some plans. And that's it. I'm good with that.
No, that makes sense. We're very, very lucky to have people like your good self. I know there's lots of, doctors, nurses, GPs, paramedics.
Yeah, huge. It's huge. We get focused on as doctors and nurses, but it's so much more. It's the people that are, risking themselves again, keeping the supermarkets open, the delivery drivers. It's so much more. This is what I mean. It's about us as a population now, how we get through this. It's not, obviously we'll be there for the sickest, but it's that bit around it, and that makes it sort of bearable, really. But it's just remembering that everyone's affected.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you very, very much for joining us today, Di.
Absolute pleasure. Anytime. And obviously I will welcome all comments and all followers, because that keeps me buoyed up. So thank you.
Did we say where people
can find you? No, you didn't know. So it's all the King's Horses with some weird dashes on Instagram and Facebook.
Underscores between all the words.
Is that what it is? An underscore?
Underscore. Yeah. Go and follow Di. I love your stories where you're chatting away. I love the Medical Mondays. Thank you so much. You are a
pleasure.
We'll catch you really soon.
Take care. Bye everyone. Bye.